Hi, I'm Scott Conkright, psychologist and founder of Meaningful Happiness, a structured and guided set of exercises designed to help you make better sense of your life, and the Relationship Workshops, which are a series of training and experiential modules where you learn how healthy relationships are developed and maintained, and discover how shame toxifies and distorts relationships, and where you develop the skills that allow you to get what you really want from them. In today's video, I'm going to demystify emotions as best as I can, what they are and how they are formed, so that in future videos I can explain ways you can control them and in what ways you cannot. More importantly, I want to help you towards mastering how to maximize the positive ones and minimize the negative ones. There are tens of thousands of emotions, and they range from the very complex to the very simple to the beautifully poetic. Each emotion describes a slightly different combination of feeling and thought, each word providing a unique way of describing what is being experienced in life. The more thought you put into describing your emotional life, both to yourself and to others, the richer your emotional life will be. I'm spending a lot of time on emotions today because as I see it, they're the primary motivators for pretty much everything we do in life. In fact, I think psychology has made a big mistake minimizing or ignoring the role of affect in our lives. Affect refers to the purely biological aspect of emotions. The 9 affects each have a unique biological response when triggered. There is more and more evidence that points to its powerful role in influencing the way we think and what we believe. Emotions inform our biases and prejudices, making it hard sometimes to think things through using new information or to hear differing opinions. It has been shown over and over that facts and truth don't persuade anyone from what they strongly believe, mostly because people's beliefs feel true to them. The thought of no longer possessing a cherished belief and possibly being wrong makes us feel bad. Again, people tend to stick to a belief because that belief feels true, not because it is necessarily true. Truthiness, to use Stephen Colbert's words, is sometimes more important than the truth, especially if truthiness feels better than the truth. My point is that it is increasingly clear that feelings influence our thoughts as much, if not more, than thoughts influence our feelings. If we want to change how we feel, it is going to be immensely useful to understand how affects work and how emotions are made, maintained, and controlled. Emotions are built from drives, affects, memories, and cognition, with a heavy emphasis on memories right now, which is why I use the acronym DAM, affect, drives, affect, memories, parentheses, and cognition, which is a lot easier to remember than DAMC. So let me start with the drives. Think of drives as signals from your body. We can recognize a drive because we feel something in our bodies which tell us something important needs to be done. When your blood sugar goes down, you get hungry, and your belly tells you that. When your bladder is full, your bladder lets you know that. When you're thirsty, your mouth lets you know that. When the sex drive gets heated up, well, you get the point. The recognition that you need to eat, drink, breathe, or sleep starts with a sensation and then instantaneously gets overwritten with thoughts and feelings like where's the bathroom or wonder what's in the fridge to eat. Some drives work very fast, others slowly, and each varies in range. If you hold your breath, it won't take much time before your body insists that you breathe, whereas hunger and sleep can be postponed much longer. It only takes a few minutes to die of lack of oxygen, whereas without food or sleep, you can go on for quite a while. Drives are one of the 3 systems that motivate us to do things, and they do so by speaking through our bodies and bringing things into awareness. The other 2 are pain and affect. Drives are one of the 3 systems that motivate us to do things, and they do so by speaking through our bodies and bringing things into awareness. The other 2 are pain and affect. I'll talk about pain in a separate video, but drives don't really have the power to get us moving, to make things urgent, to heat things up, to make something important. It takes affect coupled with drive to motivate us to do something about what our body needs. when we sense the signals from our bodies that there's a drive needing to be attended to, there are several affects that can kick in to make it feel important to do something quickly. With the drives around eating and eliminating, the affect of distress is usually the first to give urgency to the situation. And if distress lasts too long, anger and or fear kicks in. Here's a hilarious example of how affect and drive work together and can change somebody's mood and make things urgent.
Come on, mate.
Hey, seriously, you gonna help or what?
Don't strain yourself, mate, eh?
No. You know, you're a right pain when you're hungry. Here, have a Snickers, will you? Better?
Better.
You're not you when you're hungry.
There are 9 universal affects, meaning that every single human being is born with these affects, and we will recognize them in others no matter where we go in the world. Affects are biological reactions to things taking place both out in the world and inside of us that provide motivation for us to do something. An important thing to remember is that for the most part, we have no control over our affective reactions. We just experience them. It's a half second later when they are transformed into emotions that we have some control. Interestingly, we have only 2 positive affects, interest/excitement and enjoyment-joy. We have 1 neutral one, surprise-startle, and the rest are negative, anger, rage, disgust, dismay, shame, humiliation, fear, terror, distressed anguish. And notice how, except for 2 of them, they are paired up, with one on the lower and the other on the higher end of the spectrum. Notice, too, that each affect has a specific facial expression that acts as a universal language for all of us. No matter where you go in the world, no matter what people you are with, you will know anger from joy, disgust from surprise, shame from fear. Let's take a quick look at the affect of shame. Shame or embarrassment, humiliation, or being humbled or put in one's place always just happens to us. It always comes as a surprise. And our reactions to being shamed are predictable. We might get temporarily flustered, our bodies slump, our heads go down, our heads tilt down, and we look down. But there can be numerous emotional reactions to being shamed. One person may be critical of themselves for feeling shamed, basically shaming themselves for feeling shame. Another might react with anger, lashing out at the person who shamed them. And another might completely deny that they felt any shame whatsoever. One of the fascinating and beautiful things about how affects work is the way they combine with memory and thoughts, but also with other affects, all to create all sorts of emotions. And some of these memories and thoughts are ones we can remember, and many are outside of our awareness. Soon after we are born, we also start to have memories that are tied to each of the drives and to each of the affects. And over time, they start combining in all sorts of interesting and uniquely personal ways. Let's take a look at a doctor's visit. Newborns have no history of getting shots. They may cry at the discomfort of the needle, but they aren't scared the first time. But by age 2.5, toddlers now have the capacity to form personal memories which allow them to recall and create stories about events that have affects in them. These stories are called scripts. Going to the doctor becomes a script about either being sick or getting shots or some other, most often unpleasant experience. Depending on how that child's environment helped him deal with the distress of going to the doctor, was the child soothed or shamed or punished for being afraid of the needle? As an adult, he or she might not have any problems going to the doctor when necessary. Or perhaps he or she might have so much distress that they don't seek treatment. Memories combined with one or more affects are what create emotions. I hope I demystified emotions today without making your head spin too much. I know it's a lot to take in, but once you have a basic understanding of the difference between drives, affect, and memory, and see how they combine to make emotions, the world around you gets strangely more understandable and more complicated. And once you've got these concepts down, it allows me to explain lots of other amazing and very useful things about how relationships, starting with your relationship with you, work. And most importantly, how to improve these relationships.